Today we'll be talking with the Brooks about their new zero energy ready home.
When you first started thinking about building a new house, you were going to move here, you had land. What were you thinking about for the house? Did you have any goals, any priorities, anything special you were thinking about you wanted in a house?
No.
Why is this on me?
I was just, because I always jump in, so.
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
That's a big thing in North Carolina.
Well, we had, the previous house was leaky. It was a really energy inefficient house, so we knew that we wanted that energy efficiency.
Mm-hmm. So had you done any research along those lines? Or was that just a simple thought?
It was a simple thought. We hadn't really done that much research.
Okay. Had you ever heard of, or were you familiar with the terms Energy Star Home or Zero Energy Ready Home, any kind of programs about new homes for, say, energy efficient homes? Were you familiar with anything like that?
No, I mean, I knew about, energy saving appliances, but we didn't really learn much about it until we interviewed builders.
Were you thinking about health and comfort? Were those things that crossed your mind?
Yeah, you were definitely thinking about allergies, and
right.
You wanted, I think the old house had some mold in it, and we wanted to make sure that, this house was clean and healthy, and that was really important to us.
Were you thinking about, you already mentioned energy efficiency, were you thinking about durability, any kind of specific products or ways you wanted to build that might be a little better than, say, an average new home?
Well, what do you think?
Well, hardy board was sort of a durability decision.
Yeah, we made a lot of durability decisions. But mainly we wanted, something that was comfortable for us, that, as we got older, that we want to be here permanently, all the time. And we wanted it to be energy efficient, because that was important to us. We wanted it to not cost a lot of carrying expense, as we got older.
So how long have you actually been living here?
It's over a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A little over a year?
Yeah, like 14 months.
And a lot of that was kind of part-time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes the house has been heavily used, so it's anywhere between 2 and 5 people here.
Do things around here work or operate any different when there's just the 2 of you versus 4 or 5 people?
Well, I think that the big thing is when there's 4 or 5 people, the house tends to be operating 24/7. So, my daughter will do her laundry at 2 in the morning. It just seems like the house is running constantly when there's 5 people here. So you'd expect the energy bills to be crazy, but they're not. It's kind of surprising.
Okay, the big question, which goes along with what you've been saying, how do you like it? How do you like your home? What's been your experience since you've moved in?
Go ahead.
Good, bad, throw it all out on the table.
Well, I love it. I mean, I just want to be here all the time. I absolutely love it.
How does it compare with other homes you've lived in? I know you moved out of a 100-year-old farmhouse into here, but I know you've been in other homes. There's no comparison between here and a new house and a farmhouse either way.
Well, we've got 3 houses, of late that we could compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
One is a 30-year-old house that is like a luxury build. One is the old farmhouse, and the other is a 1950s house. And, it's a pleasure to be here. It's just a complete pleasure. I mean, it's like everything works. It's very energy efficient. Everything is just wonderful. And, we built it, so everything in it was selected by us. So we like that.
How would you compare the comfort level in here compared to those other houses?
Oh, it's great. I mean, our family would always complain that the big house was always too cold. That there was nothing we could do to make that house warm. And, you know, it was a nice house, but, you know, even in the winter, sometimes we get like ice on the inside of the windows. So I think the biggest challenge here is sometimes it just feels about the same year round, no matter where you're at in the house.
Mhm.
And so you don't really realize that it has gotten really cold outside or it's really hot. And so sometimes I'm just not quite prepared for that when I go out to hike or go somewhere. It's like, I had no idea.
Yeah, the other thing that's peculiar is it's so well insulated you don't really hear the birds and the outside noises very
Yeah.
well, which, you know, has plus and minuses, obviously.
That's what the deck and the screen porch is for.
Right. But that's true. It's like you just don't hear things outside. It's really quiet.
Was there any difference in the way this house feels inside, living in this house versus that house?
I don't get headaches here,
Mhm.
and I think it has to do with the humidity control.
That was one of my next questions. Have you had any health effects? Have you seen any change in your health, or just in the way you feel about things in this house?
I think that would be the one thing, is I just don't wake up with headaches.
Really?
Yeah, in the older houses, it's not uncommon to wake up with a headache in the morning.
That's something I've heard before,
Yeah.
and I usually don't hear those until I ask that question. And that's always one of the most interesting things, is to find out that a home can have an effect, positive or negative, on a person's health.
Yeah, and I would say that probably we suffer less from allergy symptoms here. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah.
I mean, we've joked before we were in Florida last week, and it's like we can't wait to get back so we don't have these allergies.
Do you notice any difference in dust?
There's very little dust in here. It's actually a little surprising how infrequently I dust.
Mm-hmm.
And I know every place else I've lived, I've had to dust once or twice a week. And, you know, we've had 3 cats here and a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, even with the animals in the house, there just isn't any dust. I mean, I've maybe dusted the baseboards once in a year. It's pretty amazing.
What about your basement? Do you have an unfinished basement? It's just wide open, unfinished. What's been your experience being in the basement?
I could live down there pretty easily, and I know when they were coming and assessing the house for taxes, there's no bathroom, that's true. I had to argue with them that it was not finished.
Right.
They said, but it's heating, there's heat, there's cool, there's walls. I'm like, there's no walls. It's just
completely unfinished.
Yeah, but we exercise down there.
But it is insulated.
It
And
is.
as you said, it's heated and cooled. But would you say it feels pretty much like the rest of the house?
It feels exactly like the rest of the house. In fact, we've talked about moving a piano here, and I wouldn't hesitate to put a piano in the basement, which says a lot.
Good conditions like that, I don't think I would want to put, I guess you don't have any dampness issues.
No.
In the basement. So moisture issues, high humidity, it just feels like the rest of the house.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to work out down there. Feels
Good.
really good.
What do you think of these Alpen windows?
I love the Alpen windows.
I know you already had this plan when you came to us, but this plan didn't have the windows in it like this. I know we did a little bit of changing, a little redesign, put in a lot of big picture windows like the one behind you.
Yeah, I think on the plan there were 3 separate windows here, and you had made the suggestion to just do one big window, and I'm really glad that we did that.
Gives you a lot more viewing,
Mm-hmm.
a lot more glass, less frame.
I don't know, it's just really nice because you feel like you're bringing the outside in.
Mhm.
And, that's one of the reasons we wanted to live here is the land. So to be able to live in a really comfortable house but still feel like you're part of the outside is really nice.
These big windows, how does it feel in the middle of the winter when it's really cold outside?
You don't get a draft from the windows.
There's no draft, you can sit right here and there can be blustery cold wind and you don't feel it.
It feels no different on that side with that big glass window than it does on this side with no window.
It feels absolutely the same.
That's nice.
It is really nice. And I will tell you that everybody that comes over, any pictures that anyone sees of the house, like one of the first things they say is, those are incredible windows. They love the windows.
This is a pattern that we've been using on several houses. It was kind of patterned after my house. I started this with the big windows at my house, and we've passed this along through a lot of the houses we've designed, and everybody really likes them.
Yeah, even in the bedroom. I mean, it's great because the bed looks out, the windows, I think, is bigger than this one.
Yeah.
In the bedroom.
Maybe just a little, either the same or maybe just a little bigger.
It's incredible because you can just lay there at night and, you know, I look down in the valley.
It's like sleeping outside.
Oh, it's wonderful. But no mosquitoes. And you can see all the fireflies. And then this morning we were up really early and all the fireflies were in the trees. And it's just kind of magical to lay there and look out those great big windows.
Do you think there is a difference between your new home and a typical new home? All the rest of the homes that are going up the same age as yours, do you think there's any difference between your home and all the others?
Well, I don't know about all the others, but you know, we watch new construction in North Carolina, Kentucky, and Virginia, and I do think there's a difference.
In summary, this house is different from all the others you've lived in. This was built to the specs of the U.S. Department of Energy Zero Energy Ready Home program. And so you would say that that program and the details that we followed through that program were worth it to you?
Yes, absolutely. And you know what I really like now is we have all this little software monitoring everything. It's almost a little obsession. Checking the solar output and then checking, you know, the energy usage, and it's really nice. I like to brag to people, so look at this.
Comfort is one of the things that I have trouble quantifying to people. It's hard to tell somebody when I'm talking to them about a new house. It's hard for me to describe, oh, we're going to make your house more comfortable than everybody else's. Well, what do you mean? And I can't get that across in a quantifiable way. It's a hard sell.
Yeah, I think the word is consistency. It's just consistently the same no matter what. And it always feels clean. And there isn't a lot of noise pollution either. It's just that you know when you walk in the door, you know what it's going to feel like when you come in here, and what it's going to sound like, and what it's going to smell like. And it's just something that you know and you look forward to.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's great. I love coming home. To me, it's just the consistency. That and there's no surprises. You don't wake up in the morning and you know you can't sit somewhere because it's so cold by the window.
Right.
It's really nice.
As you said, you don't know the difference. You don't know if it's the middle of the winter, if it's the middle of the summer, or somewhere in between.
If I didn't see outside, I wouldn't know what season it was.
Really?
And I can't say that that's true in any other house that I've been in.
Nice.
Because you know, even in the winter, if it's warm and the furnace is working, you still know there's a furnace working.
Yeah.
The air feels different, but the air feels the same no matter what the season, no matter what the temperature, no matter what's happening. It's that consistency. You know, even when we've had a power outage, you know, and I know the power's been out for 4 hours and I come home, it doesn't feel any different.
You don't know that the heat or the air hasn't been running
Right.
for the last 4 hours.